Being a likable person is probably one of the biggest advantages a human being can have as far as personality goes. Think about it, your favourite movie star, athlete, musician, colleague, what do they all have in common? Well, I'm sure they have a lot of things in common, but most importantly, they're all very likable people. Becoming more likable is a great way to fast track success. And in this video, I'm going to discuss 7 ways in which you can do just that. So the first way to become more likable is to take a genuine interest in other people. I like to call this golden retriever energy because, well, dogs are the absolute best at making friends, better than you or I could ever hope to be. Dogs are widely known as man's best friend, and for good reason. Whenever you see a dog, they're always extremely happy to see you. Within 10 feet, their tails start wagging and they start jumping out of their skin, so excited to see you and happy that you're there. It's pure unconditional love. There's no ulterior motives. They're not trying to sell you something or take you out on a date. They're just genuinely that happy to see you. And that's their way of showing their excitement, by wagging their tail and jumping up and licking you all over. Now think of that moment when you first meet a dog. The happiness, the joy that it brings from seeing a creature that's so happy to see you. Now imagine if we could invoke that same emotion in the people that we meet. Most people are far more interested in themselves than they are other people. They like the sound of their own voice and they like telling stories. So becoming genuinely interested in other people is a surefire way to make a great impression and make friends. So how do you become genuinely interested in someone? Well, the easiest way is to find common ground, something that they're interested in that also interests you. But it goes beyond that. You need to make sure that you're actively listening to the other person, not just sitting there going through the motions, waiting for your turn to speak. You need to ask good questions that show that you're listening and that you're interested to hear what they have to say. It also involves picking up on some smaller facts, things like birthdays, holidays, names, places, anything like that. If you can remember those soft facts, they can open the door for future conversations and also show that you are really paying attention, and that can go a long way. It is the individual who is not interested in his fellow men that has the greatest difficulties in life and provides the greatest injuries to others. It is from among such individuals that all human failure springs. So the second way to become more likable and more approachable is to smile. The expression that one wears on one's face is far more important than the clothes that one wears on one's back. Everyone knows the saying that actions speak louder than words. Well, a smile is a subtle action that screams, "I like you, I'm happy to see you, I'm glad you're here." A smile is akin to the wagging tail of a dog. Studies have been shown that people who smile tend to manage, teach, sell more effectively and raise happier children than those who don't. Now I'm sure that you're all aware that you can see a smile, but what would you do if I told you you can actually hear a smile too? A lot of world-class salespeople will put on a huge smile when on the phone, and that's because you can actually hear a smile in someone's voice. Try it, you'll see for yourself. You'll sound more friendly, like you're glad to be hearing from the person that you're calling, and you'll probably be more successful because of it. Now the third way to become more likable is simple. Remember people's names. There's no sweeter sound than the sound of our own name. It's what sets us apart from the crowd. It makes us unique. Some of the most successful people in history have had a reputation for remembering the names of thousands, if not tens of thousands of people. And many believe that this is one of the key reasons that they became so popular and so successful. Think of a time where someone forgot your name, or spelt it wrong, or mispronounced it, and how that made you feel. Probably pretty awful, right? Now this is something that I've experienced firsthand. I've had many situations where people have mistyped my name, or just used the wrong name completely. And to be honest, it's offensive, especially if it's an email that I've sent to someone that they're replying to, and my name is clearly detailed at the bottom of my email. Such a simple mistake on their part, one single lapse in concentration, which has created a lasting negative effect. Now, on the other hand, think of a time where someone has remembered your name, or even took the time to pronounce it correctly. Actually, scrap that. Instead, think of someone that you've recently had a brief conversation with, maybe at a party or at work, in the kitchen, someone that you hadn't really spoken to before and haven't seen since. Now, imagine that you bump into this person randomly within the next week. How would you feel if they'd actually remembered your name and they'd pronounced it correctly? Well, you'd probably feel like you made a great first impression. You'd probably feel like they liked you and that they enjoyed talking to you. And because of that, you'd probably like them a bit more than you would hadn't they remembered. So when you meet someone new, ask for their name. And if you don't hear properly, ask them to repeat it or spell it. And repeat that name in your head over and over again until you're sure that you won't forget it. And trust me, it'll come in handy. Next on the list is to encourage people to talk about themselves. Do you want to know what the most flattering thing in the world is? Well, it's when someone gives you their exclusive, absolute, undivided attention when you're speaking. We've all been in that situation when you're telling a story to a group of people and it slowly becomes apparent that no one's really listening to you. They're all looking at their phones or looking off in another direction or whispering amongst themselves. You're about to give up and stop talking altogether when you suddenly lock eyes with someone. They're looking right at you, hanging off your every word, a beam of light encouraging you to continue your story. They're genuinely interested in what you have to say and they want to hear more. At that moment in time, everyone else in the room disappears. They don't matter. You're solely focused on giving 100% of your attention to this one kind friend who's giving you theirs. Be the friend that listens when no one else will, and you'll be amazed at what you hear. Being a good listener is an absolutely essential skill to learn, both in business life and home life. A great example of this is a quote from a boy speaking to his mum. He says, "I really know you love me because whenever I want to talk to you about something, you stop what you're doing and listen." Now, another way to get people to like you more is to talk in terms of their interests, not your own. Now, this is similar to the first point we discussed, but it's slightly more specific. If you can find out what people are really interested in, you can steer the conversation into that direction and let them open up. Teddy Roosevelt, one of the most beloved presidents America has ever seen, perfected this skill. Whenever he expected a visitor, he would stay up late the night before and read about the subject that he knew that they were particularly interested in. He knew that the way to a person's heart is to talk about the things he or she treasures most. People rarely get the chance to speak freely and openly about the things they love, so when presented with an opportunity to do so, they light up with glee. The passions and feeling of joy they have whilst discussing their favourite topics will be attributed to you, and they'll look forward to future conversations. Now, the sixth way to become more likeable is to make people feel important. This is the classic tale of the CEO who treats the janitor as an equal. The desire to be important is the deepest urge in human nature. Time and time again, philosophers of all eras have come to the same conclusion. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. You want to be appreciated. You want to be recognised by your peers for your true value. You want to be seen as important, intelligent, worthy. What you don't want is insincere flattery. If you give those things to other people, people will give them back to you. Like everything, there are levels to this. You can make someone feel important simply by using little phrases like, "Oh, I'm sorry to trouble you," or even saying thank you, which is something I hope you don't need a YouTube video to realise. Or you could step it up a notch and give sincere appreciation to those that deserve it. For example, let's say you've had someone round to clean the windows. Instead of just simply thanking them and paying them after they're done, why not say something like, "Wow, these windows look great. This is the cleanest I've seen them in all the years I've ever lived here. You've done an amazing job." Now, I can almost guarantee that if you used that latter phrase, the window cleaner would have much warmer feelings towards you. Also, the next time that he comes to clean your windows, he'll probably strive to do a much better job than he would normally, because you've already set that expectation and praised him for the work that he did last time. So there are 6 ways to instantly become more likeable. Now, I know what you're thinking. The title says 7 ways to instantly become more likeable. What is this scam? Well, maybe you're right. Maybe I did clickbait you. But what I was hoping was that you, as the viewer, would leave a comment for the final tip. Anything that you do or think you could do to become more likeable. I want this to be a learning experience for me too. So if you can think of anything, please leave your tip number 7, in the comments below. I look forward to reading it. Now, just a quick note, a lot of the information that I discussed in this video was taken from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Now, this is a great book and I highly recommend it to everyone. So if you've liked what you've heard in this video and want to find out a little bit more about how to win friends and influence people, then I suggest that you pick it up. There's an Amazon link below in the description for your convenience. So that's it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.